Hello, this is me again. It's Ebba. We're going to do a page pockets put together again. This one is page pockets number 3, and this is another My Porch Prints kit. I am pretty sure I can put this one together okay. I've watched the video again a couple of times to make sure that I'm going to get things kind of in the right order. This is what it's going to look like. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's it's very simple fold out, single fold type of thing with pages on the inside. So we're going to set that thing aside because we don't need it anymore. I've shown you. So this is the base here. It consists of this part, which is part A, and then these 3 parts, which are 2 of them cover the back side and 1 of them joins onto here. In looking at this, what you want to do is decide, is this your front? Is this going to be your front? Like, because you can put it on this side like this and then choose. So this can be either inside or it can be outside. And I'm going to make this an inside thing. I'm going to make this my outside, so I have to make sure that it goes on the front cover. I want that circle on my front cover, and then these 2 will be the other ones. This one I'm going to, I think, use as my joiner, because you can pick whichever one you want to do this. They're all exactly the same size, so you can pick whichever one you want to be your joiner. I've already pre-scored everything just to make it a little easier, but I haven't folded it, so I'm going to do the folding now. Now with this one, you want to fold it back and forth a couple of times because this is your main fold. So this is your spine. This would be your spine. What I thought of doing on this, and I changed my mind, I thought, no, I'm just going to do it the way it's supposed to go together. If you want, because this ends up being quite a thick folio, if you want, you could add an extra tiny spine here that would help your folio fold and close properly. I'm not going to bother doing that at this point. I'm just going to do this way. And I'm actually going to, because I've got my A upright this way, I'm going to actually do it this way. So this is on the left-hand side. So it will end up being the inside cover of my book, of my folio when I'm done. If that made any sense at all to you. I hope so. So we're going to just put glue on this flap. You don't want glue anywhere else, just on the flap at this point. Oops. You over here where I can reach it. And then we're going to put this guy. So this then becomes your sort of inside back cover. The back of it. Make sure you can, at this stage, you want to make sure you can actually close this. Try and even it up a bit and all the rest of it. Because if you don't sort of get this one the right, like so that it can fold, then the rest is really going to be difficult. Alright, so there we go. That's my inside. Now I turn it over, and this is obviously then my front. So I said I wanted this one on the front, and then this one becomes my back. Let's get that put together, and then we'll work on the inside, on the interior of it. Okay. We're just straight gluing these down. You could, if you wanted, make these into pockets just by leaving the one side open. It would be whatever your front side is, like this sort of open side is where you could do this. Now let's make sure this is upright, because otherwise it'll look weird. And remember where your fold is, and you want just on the fold, not over the fold when you're doing this. And you know, sort of fold it both ways like I said before, this is, this is your fold. Now, you might have, or you will have, a sort of a white line in the middle here. Those white lines never bother me. If they bother you, then get out your ink and do a little bit of inking and edging and all the stuff that you might like to do. And then this one goes on the back side. Just, it's just straight gluing at this point. Most of these kits, the folio kits especially, they go together fairly easily. It's a matter of getting it straight in your head before you start gluing and putting it together. You just get it straight in your head where things go. So kind of lay it out, dry lay it, and then it's straight in your head kind of where things belong. And that way, when it comes to putting it together, it just makes it a lot easier. Now I'm making sure that this is on the edge, on this edge, because the center is going to have a lot of stuff in it. So if this is on the edge, even if there's a bit of space here, you're not going to see it by the time we're done this kit. I'm just trying to push this over just a bit there, to just line it up on the edge here. I didn't do that on this side, and I should have, because there's a little bit of white showing along there. But if things like that bother you, just pull out your ink and just ink along there, or you can trim it if you want. But this one happens to be, I've laid it on a little crooked. Yeah, it shouldn't surprise anybody who's watching my channel that, things are a little crooked a lot of times. All right, now we're going to go to the inside. Now, a couple of things that go on the inside. One is this pocket. It goes on this side. And it's got a little pocket that goes on the front of it. It is a big pocket and a small pocket. Now, it serves a purpose. These are file folder pieces. They're dividers that look like file folders. They're cut like file folders, but they're actually dividers. And there are 3 of them, as you can see. And you print, if you print on the back, mine I printed upside down on the back, which was great. It was, me printing on my printer and not realize I had switched the paper, obviously, but it's fine. So what you can do is you can put these, stack them. This is how Stephanie at My Porch Prints does it. She stacks them in the middle and just glues them one on top of the other so that it's like a book in the center of your thing. I want to stagger mine. Now, and I like this one on the top and this one on the bottom in this order. So what I've got to do in order to do that is I want them to go from the bottom to the middle to the top, like that. Just sort of be in that order, like that on the thing, because that helps to spread out the bulk on the page, on the edge, for one thing. And I don't know, I just think it looks, it looks good. So we're going to do it that way. We're going to stagger them. So I'm going to put in this one first. Now I'm going to bend these first because I haven't done that, and just bend it to make sure that it's going to be able to bend back and forth and all the rest. As I said, I scored them. You can use a scoreboard, and you can use the ruler and a pen with no ink in it, and that, whichever you choose to do with yours. I used my scoreboard, and I did it off camera because it just makes these projects a little quicker when I'm. So you're not having to sit watching me do scoring. We just want to make sure that they kind of bend back and forth. So you kind of score them both ways. Now, if you wanted with these to sort of spread the bulk out, you could actually bend one of them backwards so that it's coming from this page like this. so that it's not over top of your spine. And that helps a little bit with some of the bulk on the spine itself, because you don't have the fold on the spine. And I'm thinking I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this one this way and the top one the same way. So they will sort of overlap. And then the middle one, no, I can't do it that way. I can't do the middle one that way, because the middle one would then be on top of one of these, and I don't want that. You won't. So the middle one has to go this way. See, I'm thinking out loud now. I'm thinking so that you're seeing what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking this. But the bottom one could go like that. Definitely. And what it does is it does put something on this side. But if you're putting a pocket here, which we are planning on doing, you didn't know that, but we are. We're planning on putting a pocket on here, and it's a large pocket. It's one of these big ones. And that's going to cover that up mostly anyway. You won't really see it. We could even make it so that it does cover it up by just moving the pocket up slightly and putting the little one down, so that it covers the bottom of this pocket. But it just moves the big one, this big one, up slightly. And just put it even with that, like that, and do that. So that would look nice, and I think it would work really well. And it takes a little bit of the weight of the thickness off of your spine. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just, I'll put this back together so I don't forget what I'm doing. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So the bottom one can actually do that and take away some from the spine. So what we do then is we glue on this side and we put it this way. All right. The thickness in the whole folio is still the same, of course, but the thickness on the spine is a little bit less. And it kind of helps a bit with the everything. So I'm going to line this up with the spine, but not on the spine, and line it up with the bottom of my page so that it's sitting like that. And move it over. And I want to be able to close the book over on it. Okay. Now this folio can, if you want it to go into a journal, and go into a journal, you can stitch it into the journal. And you might want to do that sort of before you do this interior stuff, and then build it, because it would make it easier to stitch in if this is just the front and back. But if you're going to glue it in, then keep that in mind for the back, and maybe put, whichever one that you don't care if it's glued, put that in. Or it can just be a tuck in into one of your folios or your journals. So now we want this in the middle. We want this up here. And I want to see where my in the middle should be, so that I get it sort of in the middle. That looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is get a pencil and line it like that and put a little mark. Oops. I'll do it down here at the bottom so I can see where. Just put a little, I've just put a tiny mark, you won't be able to see it, but tiny mark where this should be sitting, so that I do get it in the middle. Now this one glues in, glue this side. When you're printing these, you have a choice to either print them with the pattern paper on the back or not. It's entirely up to you. I decided to put it on because I think it looks nice when you've got that. All right, let's line this up. Now we want to make sure this is here on the fold. and that it can still fold over. So we're getting thicker. There. Yeah, there. So it still folds. Everything still folds. You want to make sure that this is actually stuck down. Because I've doubled up the thickness here, it wants to pop up here. So hold it down, especially down over top where it's there. Just hold it down until that glue catches properly. Or else you'll have it popping up and ungluing itself, and you don't need that. Okay, so that's that, and then we're going to do the other one. And we do the same, we glue on this side. And we put this, now I'm turning this over so that I can line it up along the top edge. Like this. Make sure I've got it on the top edge. And as straight as I can. And along the fold. Yeah. Now what I'm doing here, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I'm folding it up and then pushing the crease into the spine so it doesn't pop forward because of all the bulk that's behind it. And just making sure that it's sitting in there the way it should be sitting rather than pushing itself forward away from the spine area, because of all the bulk behind it, it could do that. So I've done sort of pushing this way while it was still damp, while the glue was still wet enough for me to be able to move it and make sure that it went there. And then we can do this. So there. Now this is going to have this thing over top holding it in place. And we're going to be gluing along this edge. And it's not going to be a thick glue. It's only because this is supposed to be a pocket, we're not going to be able to put like a wide glue on it. So we're only doing a thin glue, but I'm going to do it a little thicker than normal for a pocket. Because this is a wide, like more or less wider pocket and deeper pocket, I can get away with putting a little bit more glue along the edge to hold these things in place properly. So that's sort of our next step, is let's get this in. Now, to make it a pocket, we only glue the bottom and this side. We don't glue the top. Because that way you can stick in your tall, narrow things if you want to. So on the bottom, we just want it thin. Just a thin strip. But on this edge, I'm going to do it a little wider so that it's hanging on to those foldy bits on the other part, helping to hold them in place as well. And then it also covers them up and makes your book prettier. Now remember, don't go right on the spine, and line it up on the bottom. Try to make it as straight as you can. And oops. And don't drag it around like that, because that doesn't help at all. Okay. There, and let's do this and make sure that it is able to fold. There. We're getting thicker and it's not wanting to close already, so you know we got a long ways to go though. We got all these things and more to put in, so yeah. And that's not ephemera, that's pockets. So yes, we have things. So now we're going to put the pocket on the front of that, and then we're done with sort of the basic. And then the rest of it is, you know, make some decisions and put some stuff. And then I'll show you the ephemera part. There. Now this is meant to just fit on this pocket thing. If yours is slightly wider, just, because we all sort of cut differently and we do things differently. So if yours is slightly wider, you may have to trim it on the edge here. Just, make sure that you're not over the spine and that it's just fitting on the pocket that way. And then close again and give it a push. And this was what I was talking about on the spine. You're already pushing out on your spine area like this. And if when you're first starting, you added that tiny little fold, it would give you that breathing space in your spine area. But then everything is thrown off. Everything needs then to be trimmed because it won't fit otherwise. Because one piece is going to be one of your covers, whichever one you put that little fold into, is going to be slightly smaller because of that. So everything else will have to be adjusted if you do that. All right, now we get into these pockets. We got pockets and pockets and pockets and more pockets. Okay, so we've got 4 large, what are called large pockets. And these ones have panels that go with them. So they're doubled up. And they are meant to go, let's put you aside. They are meant to go on your front, on your back, and on your inside back. Okay? So we want to pick one for the inside back. And I'm thinking I'm going to pick this one, because it's got the blue and it sort of matches up. So if that blue shows from here a little bit from this thing, it won't matter. It'll look like it's part of the pocket, if you know what I mean. Now I don't want to put that pocket really high, because then you can't put anything in it, because it'll all stick over the edge. So I want to put it about there, and then I'll put the other pocket. I don't like these written ones. I'll put a stripy one. Put a stripy one like this. And that'll be like that. The other thing you can do is you can, if you print on the back side of the pocket, you can actually just flip it over and use the other side. Okay, I don't need words. I don't need clips. I know what these are now. Yeah, so although if there's a pocket. That's flowers. I like that too. Oh, I like that better than the stripes. Okay, then we'll go with this one. I mean, the nice thing about this one is you can sort of mix and match and do and move things around and put them, how and where you'd like, because there's several of the same thing to go into the book. So, you can kind of pick and choose like this. So this one, okay, we'll do. You want to do just 3 sides. You don't do this curvy bit. Now I don't have, this one happens to be, I think it's an 1.5 or 2-inch hole here. I don't happen to have a paper punch that's big, so I had to hand cut it. But if you've got a paper punch, it'll fit a paper punch. I think that one's a 2-inch. It could be an 1.5, but my biggest one is 1 inch. So now this one I want to line up at the top of this fold, so that it looks like, it belongs in this book, and it hides that perfectly. Then it's not visible at all. Like you don't even know that that's been put in a different way. Okay. And then we're going to put this one with the flowers on the bottom. I like these flowers. Now this one I did put on both sides, so it could actually go this way if you wanted it, but I like the flowers better, so. Alrighty. We're just gluing on 3 sides again. Now if you wanted this pocket to be extra long, you could actually leave the bottom not glued. And then it would be an extra long pocket, and it would reach all the way through this pocket down into the bottom of this one. that makes sense to you. So if it wasn't glued, if I hadn't glued it, it would just extend this pocket. So far, everything is fitting in the way it's supposed to. I'm not getting a bunch of things hanging over the edges and stuff like that, which is like really nice, because it means I did some cutting right. Whew. All right, so that's that one done. Now, these ones also get pockets. They also have pockets. They can go on the back and on the front, and we'll get to those in a minute. They're the file folder ones. Now, not that. Over here. Now, do I want a pocket on my front? I don't know if I do. I kind of always like my fronts plain. What I might do is put a stripy pocket. It doesn't cover up my circle. What I want to do is, there's this piece of ephemera that's a circle, and I like it. I really like this piece of ephemera. That's a circle, and I wanted to put it kind of here. Covering up the other circle, absolutely, but the circle kind of reminded me that that's what I wanted to do. But I could just leave that off and put this on the front as a pocket on the front. Because like I said, these are things you do, whatever it is you want to do. You don't have to put everything in. You put in what you'd like. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to put one pocket on the front. And it's just going to be like this one. So, yeah. So I want to make sure that that one fits, on the front. And if it doesn't, like if it's a little bit too big on either side, then just do a little trim. Just take a little tiny bit off, sliver off a bit, and it'll be good. All right, so that's my front. And then on my back, now, I have lots of word ones here. I've got two big word ones and a small word one, and I could do this. See, I could layer all three of them and not have this one, but layer all three of them like this. I mean, you would put a shorter piece here, and you actually could do this. Have two long ones and a short one at the top. Okay, like that. Well, that's kind of cool too. I could even put the stripy one on here, like that, to kind of break up all the writing part. I kind of like this. I like this idea. Okay, so when you do something like this, you make this kind of a decision. You have to figure out now where do I start? So you have to start on the bottom. So figure out where you want your bottom piece. Make a little mark. So you're getting it in the right, the right height that you want. And then go from there. Because once you get this one in, you can kind of line up the others pretty easily without marking necessarily. But if you've got some that you figure, well, I better put a mark, then just put a mark. You can always erase a mark, like if it's showing. This is not going to show, because it's going to be covered up with the other things. So it's going to be fine. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put this one on. Make sure it's not over your spine edge. This is the spine over on this side. And if it's a little bit bigger, make sure that it's bigger on the opening side, not on your spine edge. Try and make your spine edge as even as you can. In this case, like, sometimes you're doing it the other way. All right, so then we want this one to be there. Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to do this like this. We're going to have 4 pockets on the back. two big deep ones, two big deep ones and two shallow ones, and just layer it differently. Yeah, I kind of like this. I like this idea, you know. All right, so we want this one to be about there. Yeah, I think so. Be about there. Now the other one is going to be about here. Oh, so I should have moved this one up. Oops. All right, I'll move you up a bit. Yeah, more like that. Okay. Okay, glue down. Take away this glue because it'll glue the other pocket inside. We don't want to do that. Okay, and then we put this one on. Yeah, they're about even. Well, close, you know. Close. Brushes and hand grenades. It's an old saying, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. That's where that comes from. All right, this one goes down. Now you want to make sure that it's, you know, to the bottom of the page, but not over the bottom of the page, you know. Get it straight as you can and put it in, and oh, that looks good. Yeah, so it's sort of layered, but it's almost invisible, you know, until you start putting stuff in there. That's pretty cool. I like it. All right, last one on the pockets, on these pockets. Don't worry, there's more. There's more pockets. This one is pocket full. Turn. All right. Yeah, I didn't take away my green pad again. I mean, you know, I know I'm going to be doing gluing, and I get in my head, now get that thing out of there, and then I completely forget, and I just start. And then I think about halfway through, you didn't take your pad away again. All right, so that's those. Those are going to work good. All right, moving right along. Now, these are file flip pockets, these ones here. And these are the cards that go into them. So the cards, let's take them out. The cards are a variety. You've got some flowers, which I really quite like, black and white. And then you've got a couple of these with writing on them. I quite like the cards with the, you know, with the flowers on them. And over here on the flip pocket things, we also have two that are in writing, with writing. So we'll leave this tacked together. We've got two with writing, and then the rest of them are flowers. So we have two there that are flowers. These all came off of different sheets, which is why I've divided them the way that I have. And there's two there that are flowers. And if you notice, these match. They have matching cards. You don't have to match them. You can put them in any order you want. What these are meant to do is go on the outsides of these as a pocket. And there's meant to be one on either side. So one on the front, one on the back. If you want, you can just do them with just one if you feel that that's what you'd like. And you are going to be making the pocket is here on the outside of the folder flap. And I'm thinking that I would like the flowers to be on the fronts. So I've got three, and rid of that. And then the writing can be on the back of two of them. So the back of the first one, for instance, and the last one, and then this one can go on the back of this one, because I would like to put all of these in. Stephanie didn't, of My Porch Prints, didn't. She did just on the fronts to save on some of the bulk, which, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. So this is what I'm going to do, and I like this one for the front, for the front of this one. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a pocket, and make sure that you remember which is your back when you flip it over. So this is my back, so that you're gluing. Move up. So you're gluing, sort of the right edge, and leaving open the right edge, because you want your edge. You always want your edge to be away from the spine, not toward it. If you put it toward the spine, it's going to be very awkward to try and get anything into your thing. Now I'm going to center these because I kind of like that look, but I'm moving them over. I'm moving them over away from the edge. And when I put in these, one thing that I didn't bring over here, which I should do, I have a bunch of these file things, and I didn't cut them out on this. There's lots, and you can cut them all out, but I didn't cut them out. But you need them to put on the edge so that you can get this card in and out. So you want it on the edges of your cards. So I will get that in a minute. So I have a bunch that are extras. So on the back of the front one, I'm going to do one of these words ones, of the small words ones. Not the small ones, the big ones. Oops, almost messed up there. Because that's these. Okay. So I'm going to do one of the words. I don't think it really matters which one. Maybe I'll do this one that's more like a list thing. I don't know, because they're in a different language entirely, and they might be French, but they might be Italian. They've got sort of names. You can read some of them as names, and I'm not really sure what it's talking about. So I don't even want to try. I don't even want to try. But I think this is sort of a continuation or something, because it's also divided, but it also looks like it's written like in the columns, but not necessarily the same as this. Like, who knows? Anyway, we're going to choose one. Now, this one, it's this side. That's the open. So that's my open side. So I don't want to glue on the open side. I want to glue on the spine side. I'm just putting a thin glue around the edge, and that way, you're not taking up all your pocket space with glue. Okay, so toward the back, kind of in the middle, like that. And just do that, and then do a little bit of a fold over to make sure that you're far enough away from the spine that it's not going to be a pain. And there we go. That's the second pocket. So we'll use one of those things. Now we'll do this one. We're just going to continue doing these. Whoops. Which one? Okay. So this is my front. So we're going this way. Yeah, it always pays to just do that little check and make sure that you're getting your front in the right place. Or you might be really sorry later. So again, just place it in away from the back edge far enough that it's not going to be, interfering with the spine part, but close enough that you've got space here to go in. And this one was going to have the extra flower. So I'll do this one with the flower. And it is this side. Okay. It's that side is my opening. there, there. Yes. For a minute I thought, uh-oh, you messed up. But no, I didn't. I did good. All right. There we go. Got it more or less, in the middle. I'm watching the spine and watching the end and the top and all the rest of it and just trying to get it straight and yeah. All right, so next we do this one, and this is like the last pockets. So there's my front on this side. So that's my front. Oops. Front, come on. There we go. Alrighty, and one more. That's this one. One more with the words now. The words, it's this side. Dog hair. We have dog hair. We have a dog. We have dog hair. Yeah. It's really hard for us to get Brie on camera. She doesn't often come and nose around or do things when we're doing this. She doesn't like that we're talking to midair. It's a funny one. All right, so now I'm going to just, I'm going to pause for a moment. So what I have is a bunch of tags that came with other kits. And I like these plain ones, so I thought I'd use 3 of these. No, 6 of these. Do I have 6? I hope. 3, 4, yep, 5, 6, yes I do. I don't tend to use these very often, so, it's kind of... I could use the ones with the flowers on them. They'd be kind of pretty too. But I'm going to use these plain ones because they kind of match color-wise. Now the problem is I didn't cut the holes on these ones. And I didn't fold them yet. So rather than using a scoreboard and all that, I'm just going to try with one of them to get it folded. I might need my scoreboard. I have a little one, which I should have right here somewhere. When you want these little things, they're not there. Anyway, with these things, what you do is kind of fold them in half, which I didn't do a very good job of on this. You get your scissors, and it's got a little thing that, you're supposed to cut out. This is just terrible. Okay. Trying to pull it back into fold area. And this is a trick. Alright, oh, now I've ripped it. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, you cut the little notch out after you folded it together. And it should pretty much line up. Like, if you've got a little bit of an edge. Actually, this isn't going to show because it's back and front. So if you do have an edge, it's not really going to show. But you want to put these on in such a way that you can use them to pull these in and out of their things. But you want to figure out, before you start doing that, which ones are going where. So this one is going on this side. It's going to go in this pocket. So I can do this one on this edge, right? But if I'm putting it in the other side, then I want it on the other edge. So you have to know where you're putting it and don't just put these on and then say, okay, good enough, because you may be unhappy with what you've done. Come on, let me get some glue. You may be unhappy with what you've done because it's on the wrong edge by the time you're, you know, when you go to try and put your things into your book. And you can put these anywhere on the edge. I mean, they don't have to go on the middle. I'm going to put this one on the middle, but you don't have to. They can go up at the top or the bottom or wherever you'd like them. And so see, you can't really see that it's uneven. I mean, you know. Yeah. Now, one trick that I learned, when you've got an edge like this that's decided it's, you know, got to look a little ratty, put a little bit of glue on there and just rub it. And ta-da, it doesn't look ratty anymore. I learned that from when I was paper crafting a different type of paper crafting. So this one is going to go here. Now, sometimes they'll be difficult to get in. And if they are, you might have to trim them off a little bit, top and bottom. Or you can take your corner rounder and just round the corner a little bit. Now, this is a really small corner rounder, so it just does just a tiny bit. Oops. It might not want to do this corner because I've already put the thing on. And it might not want to do this one at all. No, it's not going to want to. Okay, let's get this one, because this one will do it. Put it on the small side. And that's, that did not do what I wanted it to. Okay, we'll go on the medium then. Nope, it ain't gonna, it says nope, I'm done. Okay, whatever. All right, so in it goes. Go. In you go. There. So that becomes that. Now the next one, see, I'm matching them up. You can do them any way you want, but I'm going to be smart this time and do my corners first. Yeah. That makes it way easier. And then, if I had my little, I know what I'm going to do. Let me get my ruler. My ruler, turn over. Put it along the edge. Put it along the edge. There we go. And I'm just going to use my bone folder if I can. Yeah, that works. It's just to make it so that it folds where it's supposed to instead of where it wants to. You know, and then you don't end up with a ratty looking edge. Ta-da. There. And like I said before, you don't have to worry about evening them up or anything because they ain't showing from one side to the other. Yeah, you're not going to be lining them up from one side to the other. This one I think I want to put now. I almost did it. This one has to go on this side. So I think I want to put it like that. I might turn it over and put it like this. More like that. This one does not, like these ones I printed on the back, but you don't have to. You can use them as writing pages. Like, you know, the little writing areas that you put into journals and stuff. It could be like a journaling bit, if you want. I just did mine as like a picture. Yeah. Anyway, because I'd be the type that would take this folio and I would be trying to figure out what all these words were. That's kind of me. All right, let's set you down and set you here. And I'll put you about there. See, I need to move it over gradually so that I get it in the right place. You know, the back, I mean, I'm not worried about the back, but on the front, I want it sitting in the right place. So, yeah. All right, so that one slides in like that. Like that. And this just makes it so you can pull it back out again. All right, who are you? Which one? There you are. You know, the thing. This one's a little bit wider. I'm going to trim this one off on this edge. It seems that I cut it a little wider. And I want it to be able to slide in and not be a pain. So I got a little bit of a corner down here that's a little crooked. And that's going to be the part that slides in. So you want, you know, you want to give yourself your best shot at getting it to slide in, because These can be tricky, sliding them into these things. If there's not quite enough room in your glue area, for instance, you added a little more glue on the edge or something, you can take your bone folder and go in and just give it a little nudge like that, and it'll kind of open it up a bit. Okay, let's do this one. I know, I'm sorry if this is like watching paint dry, but you know, it's all part of the process, and you know, I cut out a lot of it. I did good that way. I cut out a lot. Okay. I don't like this little white edge. That's on both of them, and it can come off, because that would show. But this other part doesn't. All right, now where are you going? You need to be on this side. Just making sure. Big lump of glue on there. Not helpful. I usually end up at the end of a gluing session with glue everywhere. Yeah. That's okay. We clean her up after. This one I think I'll put again in the middle. Like, they don't really show from one to the other, so I kind of like them in the middle. Just makes them a little bit easier to pull out. There. Now, did I print? I did. I printed on the back of these, so. But you know, it's like I said, it's up to you whether you do or you don't. And if they're going to be journaling cards, you can do that. If they're just going to be, you know, for looking at, you know, do what you want. So now we have this one. We'll do this again. And if making a small curve doesn't work for you, like it doesn't do enough, then make a bigger one. If you've got a bigger, you know, corner punch, make a bigger one. I've got one. This one has 3 edges on it. So it's got a large one, a medium one, and a small one. So like if you've got one like that, it's easier. This one here, I got it as a gift with one of the things I got, or the orders I got. So this one now needs to go on the other side. Yep. Throwing my glue around now. Yeah, Gary went out the other day and got me some more glue, so I do have extra glue when this one's done. One of the problems with this particular bottle is I made the hole a little bit bigger because I needed more glue coming out at one point for something, and yeah, it kind of leaks all over inside its little cap now, so it gets really quite messy and quite sticky. So I wrecked the cap. One of the things I do with these caps when I don't wreck them is because these unscrew and they'll fit onto a lot of different glue bottles that are about the same size. So you can do that. You can just put it on a glue bottle. Now this one's going on this side, and I'm going to put it in the middle again. I'm, you know, not going to bother being too fancy with it. There, how's that? We'll do it a little straight. I mean, goodness sakes. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Good. And this one is a little snug. Come here. I think we've got a little bit more glue on, maybe on the top edge. Yeah, it looks like just on the top. And you can just, you're not really slicing it open. I mean, be careful that you don't. But use something that's more blunt, not something that's sharp. And that way you're just sort of opening it a little bit and allowing this to slide in a little easier, that's all. Why don't I do these two, one right after the other, and then we can just put the last 2 in. My ruler doesn't want to move the way I want it to. There. More or less. I'll do you too. Then we can do ruler away. Ruler away. There. Alright, ruler away. Don't need that anymore. Shouldn't need this either. So just scissors. Take this little edge off. It won't show because it's only on one. But I just took it off anyway. Yeah. And you. I know I'm going to find these little things all stuck inside my book. They keep flying into the underneath the thing here. I've got several of them in there. Oh well. Alrighty, that should be that done. Now I'll just glue them into place. Do this. This must be. I hope this doesn't hurt your ears too badly. This snapping. There, and you. There's Bree. Hello, Bree. She's looking. She's over on the kitchen floor looking for stuff. She is a real food dog. Really, really loves her food, and you can convince her to do anything if you offer her something. Some bit of food, and she's there. She just loves her snacks and her cookies and all the rest. We try not to give her too many because she does have the lab in her, which means she can gain weight really quickly. And she gets a little bit broad across the beam. I mean, I am as well, but I try and keep the dogs healthy when we have dogs. Keep them as healthy as we can with what we can afford. I don't buy expensive dog food. Matter of fact, we find that we give our dogs human food, especially in the evening, with a bit of dog food. They need some dog food. There's something in dog food that they can't get in food unless you know specifically what food to give them. But so we give them dog. We do give her dog food. It's not necessarily expensive because all the dog foods have it, whatever it is. I don't even know what it's called. It's some sort of a mineral, and it's really good for them. So they have to have it in their system to function properly as be healthy. So we give her dog food. She gets crunchies, but we also give her in the evening. She gets whatever we're having for supper. If we're having something and there's not enough, then she gets dog food with something human in it, like human food in it. And she is a very healthy dog. She has a glossy coat, and she has beautiful bright eyes, and she's very, very healthy. Her skin is loose, like it should be. Yeah, she's really healthy. So, it worked, because when we were just giving her dog food, we were giving her a good quality dog food, but it wasn't, her skin wasn't, or her fur wasn't shiny and glossy like it should be. All right, we've got all the pockets, and we've got the thingies in those pockets. So those pockets are done. Now, we have all this other stuff. And this is the ephemera you get. With this particular kit, you get quite a bit. There's, these things, you don't have to do the backs like when you're putting these in, because they're meant to be put in. I'm not going to be gluing things all over the place, because I'm going to be tucking this stuff in and leaving it up to if somebody gets this in a drawer. And we're going to be having drawers as we come up to certain points. We're thinking every time we get another 100 people, we will have a draw. until we reach the 500 point, and then we'll have a look and see whether we should be doing it every 100 or we should, lower that, whatever we should do. But we'll make decisions like that as we kind of go along and grow as a little channel. This one needs a bit of a trim. It obviously didn't get cut properly, straight, That's okay. I'll trim her off. And like so, and like so. And there it is. There. Now it's folded. I'll fold it back out. I keep sticking it over to the side, which is silly because I need it right now. Alright, there's that one. There's this one, and there's this one. These are the three that you fold over and turn into like cards, or you can glue them together if you want. Make them into a tag, or you can leave them unglued. This one doesn't fold even. I folded it right on the line, and it's got a sticky out part, so we're going to be removing the sticky out part. But yeah, you can glue these together if you want to and just turn them into a tag, or you can leave them as a card and as a extra writing space. So that's what this is going to be left as, because if it becomes part of a draw, and a lot of these things are going to, then we want it to be able to be part of a draw, and we want it so that you can do things with it. So we're going to put these guys kind of in this front bit. Right, yeah. Gary was just showing me I've been an hour and something already. Maybe I want this on this back. Do I want this on this back? Yeah, maybe. No. Maybe here. There works. All right, that'll work. Okay. And some of these are I'm just going to tuck them in like this as a sort of a group. Hopefully they don't fall too far in, but and these can be in there, as long as they don't go too far down that you can't even find them. But there's three there, and back here we can put you, and maybe I'm going to do these two on the front, just put them there. Okay, that is everything tucked in, everything done. So this is it. I'm going to probably put a string around it. I'm not going to glue the string on, I'll just tie it around just to hold it shut. So this is it. So you have ephemera everywhere, you've got pockets, lots of pockets, you've got pockets in the side, areas for these little cards to go into, pockets here and pockets back here. Now I didn't put ephemera into each of these pockets, I just left it like that. So this is this whole folio. I really like it. I think it's got a lot of use. If you're a journal person and you love putting these things into journals, this is a good one for you. All right, that's it for this time. I really appreciate you being here and watching. And if you watched all the way to here, please leave a like. It means you like the video, and it just helps in moving us along a little bit. Once we reach that 100 subscribers, so if you're interested in seeing more of our videos, do subscribe. And once we reach that 100, we're going to be doing a draw. And we'll probably have 3 people getting packages of stuff. And there'll be a folio and cards and I don't know what all. Folios will have a lot of things in them. We're not going to chintz out on anything, so it'll be like a happy draw. Anyway, that's it for this time, and I will be moving on to another folio probably. So you take care out there, and we will talk to you next time. Bye for now.